millimeter, it be accurately measured. It's measured flat, direction up and down, flat level we at, flight over ground, descending from that breeze, heading in degrees, horizontal, flat, EST, now you know it's flat, below ground, measured flat.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Sven P, Curved Fart, Pablo Dela Cruz, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, Survive the Spin, Thomas van der Zander, Measured Flat, Tears Morgan, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, JMelds24, Yu Unamento, Iron26, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Bob Barker, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links to Patreon are below this video, together with links to my book, Measured Flat. So buy a copy if you've not done so already. Also, if you wanted to make 30% off the sale of each book, then you can join as an affiliate and acquire your own affiliate link to sell copies of Measured Flat under your video. So check out the affiliate link also below this video. But with that, I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Wow.
Dude.
Did someone?
Do you want us
restart
to
the
make you
record?
feel better about the fact that you don't have any globe evidence?
I'm not here for that.
Then
Dude,
you
we
are
know.
in the wrong room, dude.
Then you've answered your own question. Yes, you're disruptive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should
It's
I
like
leave?
he's a closet flat earther. He knows that he's attracted to the flat earth, but he doesn't want to come out and admit it because he doesn't want his parents to find out because he'll be shunned.
I'm again like if you have like a cohesive community and I'm disrupting and shit.
Dude, I just asked you to
You're
get on
disrupting
topic.
us by asking us if you're fucking disrupting us.
Hey Eli, we're in politics. I've currently got the line muted so I can say hello to you so we don't disturb them, but hello.
Sounds like them.
Just so you're aware, I'm going to take myself off mute, so if you do speak, you will be heard. So just to avoid that, if possible, just listen and let them do what they're doing. I've got to do the same thing with Neil. We're in politics, but they are, or were, seemingly in a discussion, so I'm hopefully going to leave them to it, Neil. Just for now, I'm just putting myself on server deafen or server mute in their server so I can say this to you without disturbing them. But hello. Hello, Nathan. Oh, well, good to have you, Neil. I'll take myself back off server mute.
Yes, I got you.
Right, from this point forth, I can hear you. You watch, someone else will join now immediately.
I only see 24/7 politics. I don't see 24/7 flat earth.
I had to come back to my mic. Check, radio mic, check, check. Yes, we're in 24/7 Flat Earth in the politics server. Neil. It all went very quiet. I didn't want you to disturb their discussion, so I did temporarily have me on mute in there. But you can be heard if you want to say hello to them.
Oh, so they're quiet. That's what it is?
Yeah, they're just not saying anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't see your
That's
icon
fine.
anywhere.
Okay. You don't need to be. You're in here with us, so you don't need to be in there, Neil.
I like to check who's in the room I'm going to be in.
I see. Why?
I told you I don't want to be around scumbags no more. That's it.
The other day I went into one of the servers in politics. I can't remember. I'm going to scroll through to see if I can find the one that went in to specifically name which one it was. Something about some women's rights or something like that. Where is it? Anyway, could have been the Siren Hotel or something like that. One of these rooms. And I sat in there for about 2 or 3 minutes listening to a woman talking about her right to abort her unborn child. And at some point there's a break in the conversation. One of the people in there says, "Hey Nathan, what's up?" And I open my mic. I'm outside with the kids screaming. And I go, "The sky?" And then quickly go back on mute again so I'm not disturbing the, general timbre of the discussion. And there's another short pause. And the guy says, "Shall I ban Nathan?" So I open up my mic again. I said, I've said 2 words. So I went to another room. And quite often you'll jump into a room and it'll be like this. It's loads of people in there, but they're not necessarily discussing anything. And then all of a sudden it'll erupt and a couple of people will start going at it. Like we heard a minute ago. I can't remember who it was. A couple of people were talking to each other, right? But we haven't got a video to cover today. So Liam was saying he would send another chick to cover. So he said jokingly, we'll continue Bimbo Week with another video of a girl covering Flat Earth. But he hasn't sent any videos. He did say it'd be off today though. So. Yeah, often these rooms can be completely packed but dormant, like no one's saying anything to anybody. I didn't know till I started flicking around in there. So I started using the iPad to test the audio. So in other words, I'd go in and then sign in a different account, also called Nathan Oakley, and then go into the room that I'm in so I can hear how the performance of the room works. I think you were here when I was doing one of the tests for my daughter. I had her sat where I'm sat now. Why am I on this mic? Hold on a sec. I've got Eleanor sitting where I'm sat now and talking to the Discord server, and then I'm also in the same room but on a different account so I can monitor the sound. So when people say, "Oh, it's rubbish sound,"
Not even
like,
nothing plugged in.
say again? Say again, Eli.
Nope, that was a mistake. Trying to boil some water.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I've checked out whether or not they're bullshitting me when they're like, "Oh, we can't hear them," or "You can't be heard clearly." You're like, yeah, I can. I checked out what it would sound like, and ever since then I've had the app on the iPad, so when I'm walking around doing editing and just generally working, you can go into Discord and just do what people do but on a mobile device, which I don't typically do. So yeah, I started scanning through some of the politics server rooms just to see in what room is occurring with who. Good server, very diverse. Interesting that it's got a wide range of age range of people as well. Wide range of ethnic backgrounds, sex. It's a very diverse group in the politics server. A couple of people coming off and off from mute but not actually saying anything, unless I've got something wrong with my audio.
Yeah, I don't see the room at all.
Can I get a hello from someone in Discord? Shows that I'm in there. Can you hear me in Discord? I can't hear them. Let me just refresh Discord.
Are slightly different things, and we're trying to achieve too much with one institutional mode in education.
There
Yeah,
we
but
go.
in your worldview, how would you handle that? How would you handle those like perceived negatives or perceived inefficiencies or deficiencies?
In my worldview, the first thing I would be doing is
Still can't hear you.
Yeah, lights are on. No one's on.
I guess those microphones don't work.
No, I just had a problem with
Ouch.
Discord. I've refreshed it now.
There he is. Yes,
there it
he's
is.
got it.
Now you're on.
Yeah, the Discord had just cut out. I refreshed it and it's fine now.
Welcome back, Nathan.
Hello.
What's going on your side of the pond?
Very hot here. Clear blue skies, beautiful sunny day. That just does mean I'm going to be pouring with sweat though. That's life though, isn't it?
Hot for you. Hot for
guys
you,
having
fellas.
any
Is anything
clips
above
today?
15 degrees, isn't it?
15 degrees? No, it's more like 30 degrees.
You guys having any clips today?
Yeah, about 7 p.m, something like that, our time. So I've had the girls make a couple of viewing boxes just in case it is too bright to look at with the naked eye. I doubt it because it's late in the afternoon. So it should be easy enough to just look at it. But they have
In
got some
2
little
hours, make sure you strap yourselves in because gravity is going to vanish for 7 seconds.
I already got my side down. I had a company come out and drilled holes 60 feet into the ground and diagonally a couple different directions. And I got chains out there. And then I'm going to go out and chain myself out in the yard later.
Okay. I mean, gravity, depending on which one you're talking about, is an assertion that we've got a downward vector perpendicular to a plane of reference. But in terms of it being a force that could be turned off, that was superseded 111 years ago. The current rhetoric is a mathematical construct called space-time that is alleged to warp as a consequence of the uneven distribution of maths. That's not something that you can turn on and off in any circumstance. It's just a mathematics. If you talk about specific gravity, it's just weight. If you talk about Newtonian gravity, it's mass attracting mass to the centre of Earth. So, depends which one you're talking about, but none of them are actually any, consequence beyond weighing things.
Well, it's all over TikTok that it's turning off for 7 seconds today. Hold on to stuff.
Yeah, because the reason why is because there's black hole waves crossing. Or it could be from the eclipse. But you better believe it. It's going to happen today. Anchor down.
These are only in existence in mathematics.
Yeah, now it's my turn to
math is
play.
reality.
I'm half a day ahead of you, lot. Nothing happened, so don't worry.
Oh, I forgot you live in the future.
Yeah, but it has to happen 10:30 our time. Well, 9:30 my time. 9:33 to be exact, Central Time. 10:33 Eastern Time. So wait, you're saying that at the time it was supposed to happen for you, it's gone already and it didn't happen? What a disappointment.
Correct.
So
It's
anyway,
already Thursday.
it is.
Close to it for Australia.
you should feel the effects in Sydney. All right? So it'll be Thursday for you,
Correct.
Wednesday for us. So it didn't happen yet for you. It's happening at 12:30 a.m. So please make sure you take precautions.
Hey, Matrix, look in your types of gravity chart and look in the D section. Look at the first one. That's a globe gravity. It's a degenerate gravity.
So during the 7 seconds, are the effects going to be negligible or what?
You are going. That's what I was thinking. If you're outside, 7 seconds, don't go by so fast. So you could freaking float up 20 feet. There's going to be a lot of people dropping dead today.
Just so you know,
That's what I'm saying.
And why would you be floating
on a
up? Where are you
ball
getting this instant want to be up in the sky from?
Because gravity pulls you towards the center. If you don't have any gravity, you're going to fly away from the center. Duh.
Horseshit. That was superseded a while ago. It's bendy space
No, we're
time
not
now.
talking about that
I want to
one.
know how I'm flying.
No. See, that one don't work with what's supposed to happen at 10:30 Eastern time. Stick with the one that's going to work. And bending of space-time ain't going to work. Like, you can't float away with that. So just go back to Newtonian.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Stick with the right
inertia
one.
would carry you on without Einsteinian gravity. Your inertia would carry you on, so it would look like you were falling upwards, but it's actually the Earth just stopping its movement.
Oh, shoot, the Earth's going to stop? Wow, there's going to be catastrophes. Let me get ready. I'll be back. I got to hanker down.
Hey, listen, I already talked to some globers. If the Earth stops spinning, everybody flies off.
I see this as a fairly narcissistic endeavour. Whoever seeded this into the general populace, this idea, right? It's a couple of things. One is Duper's delight. But moreover, there's a narcissistic endeavour called future faking, which is where if you're dealing with empathic people that respond well when you try and extract a response or a reaction from them, then you can plant this idea of something that will affirm their bias coming their way imminently. In this case, the demonstration that the lack of any evidence of Earth turn or gravity can be compensated for when suddenly the effects are no longer in effect. Like, there aren't any effects. Not all things tend towards the ground. But to suggest that we can nullify a non-effect and then we'll start experiencing something is a way of future faking you. Well, when it doesn't happen, you've already had those endorphins released into your system anyway. You've already got off on it. You've got the mental high from the fantasy that this could happen. It's like the psychopath telling the woman, yes, of course we'll get married next year. Of course you can go out and start looking at places to have the reception. The year elapses and they're not getting married. And then he just says, oh yeah, did I say that? Yeah, we'll get married this time next year. And she immediately gets excited again. It's future faking.
Did you hear what Harp said to me that one time when we discussed this about a month ago? I said, man, if that happened, that would freak me out. I'm just walking down the block and boom, I get sucked up. He goes, you stupid idiot. You're a Christian. You're supposed to believe in a rapture. So why should it freak you out? Oh, man. It would freak me out.
Yes, the lack of a non-force that you can think of as a force that isn't really a force because there isn't really a force of gravity at all, end quote, Professor Brian Cox, being turned off should worry everyone. I think we should all be deeply afraid. In fact, don't be afraid. Be very, very, very afraid.
Well, they cover this in one of the adventure movies, don't they? Where gravity is gone for a couple of seconds and people are just floating in the air. I don't know if it's Spider-Man or the Avengers, one of the Marvel movies. Or it might have been Flash. I don't know. It's a superhero movie. where they lose gravity and people are just floating up in the air.
Can you say all that again? I was in the other room making coffee.
I said in one of the superhero movies, it's happened already. So
Oh, what?
Oh, it must be true then.
Force turned off. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, it was one of them. I don't know if it was Flash. It was one of them. I'll find out. But it happened in one of the movies for about 5 seconds. There was a loss of gravity and everything just floated up in the air. Cars, people.
Is that because the Earth stopped moving up?
Infinity War.
It was the Avengers, right? The Infinity War.
Yeah.
Now that was when at the end Thanos clicks them all away, right?
I think it's when Peter Parker's
Huge waves.
spaceship.
I didn't hear you. Somebody rumpushed you.
I think it's when Peter Parker's
Sorry,
in the spaceship.
He just wants to rumpus you today, whoever that is.
Sorry, I was just calling you dweebs for talking about comic book shows.
Oh, it's Len.
Yes, I agree entirely. Yes, I was definitely listening.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt there anyway. How's me sound? Is it shite?
About average. It's all right. It's not terrible.
I was wanting to get the same noise cancelling headphones as Eli, but then a day or two afterwards, someone accidentally delivered a set of Sennheisers through my door.
Oh, okay.
It's got my address on it, but no way of returning it or anyone, so I thought, I'll give that a go.
Fair enough. This sounds fine. It's all right.
I can hear the background, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're anywhere near as good as yours. I'm doing about 20 on my bike, and there's a bit of a breeze, so you probably can't even hear what I'm saying.
No, we can.
Oh, no, that's actually pretty good, then.
Yeah, I would agree. Considering your circumstances, that's pretty good. Battle of the noise cancellation headphones on our show currently. People out competing each other for how much crap they can have going on in the background that you can't hear. Like, we had jackhammers in the background yesterday. Couldn't hear them.
Wait a minute. It occurs to me that I've heard over the months Dave Weiss, in one of his apologetics, discussing how electrostatics work and that they've discovered that when lightning strikes, people and things actually float up because it changes the polarity of the local area. It depends on how close you are to the lightning strike, but things do actually float momentarily when the sudden change of polarity of the ground versus the sky changes when the lightning strikes.
That's not true.
No, it is. I saw that. No, don't be so quick to condemn it, John. I did see it. There was this, like, bird. I think it's called a roadrunner. And then there was this other creature, like a coyote. And it got struck by lightning, and it levitated off the floor. It was amazing.
Go ahead, John.
During an electrical storm, the polarity of shifts a lot. When was the last time it thundered near your house and you floated up in the air?
Say that last bit, you broke up. Say the last bit again.
The polarity switches during a lightning storm often and regularly. So when's the last time you floated up during a thunderstorm?
I'm not saying it's constant. I'm not saying it's constant. I'm saying that a close by lightning strike is enough to apparently, again, I haven't looked into it besides the Roadrunner, and but the local, fairly local strike will objects will raise up slightly.
You've never seen that, have you?
Yeah. I'm just saying it. That's what the claim was. I haven't looked into it. Other than the whole past 8 hours, we've had the most lightning and the most rain we've had in our area for months and months. We've got flash flood warnings.
It's lightning. A lot of things floating up, don't you?
No, it's not that. It's not everything is floating. It's that instantaneously or for a short second, the polarity shifts in a local lightning strike. I'm not saying that a bunch of lightning means the polarity changes of the area.
The polarity changes constantly during a lightning storm. Okay. And not all the time do you get lightning. It has to have that path, right? So the people that make these claims have no idea how electricity works.
One thing I have seen that was truly fascinating, when you say if it has that path, well, like most places, there's going to be somewhere at a high point of the ground that's got a conductor on it, right? So for me, it's the local church. It's got a lightning rod on it, and that's where the lightning goes. So it's quite noisy when there's a lightning storm here because it hits the church. Anyway, that aside, if you're in somewhere that doesn't have anything like that and it's like an open expanse, you can get these things, I think the correct term is leaders, and it's like lightning raising up from the ground to try and meet the electricity that's going to come down from the sky. Have you ever seen that? Where they've got the, like, it looks like reverse lightning almost coming out of the ground. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, it can go both ways. It can go sideways. It can go, like the people that claim this have no idea how electricity works. And the idea that lightning is going to strike and cause things to float is ridiculous. It may land there and explode and people go flying in different directions from the explosion, but I don't call that floating.
Yeah, I think it's sideways lightning, sheet lightning.
It can be ball lightning. There's all sorts of different phenomena that can happen with electrical currents, the way they work in our air.
I'm sure I saw a documentary once about a guy who sewed a load of body parts together, and then he put it on this like bed and raised it up towards the lightning, and the thing came to life. I'm sure I saw that in a documentary sometime.
That's as believable as things float because of it. If you're going to have an immaterial material be the background medium for all mediums, then you really do need to explain this downward vector. It's behooving upon you, the force that appears to be applied to it.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
also,
but what about the MIT little aircraft thing that doesn't use any moving parts, that floats around because it reverses polarity or something? So I need to dig that video up.
it reverses polarity and it has no moving parts. Then how does it reverse polarity?
I mean, they got a wire hook to it. So I got to find that video.
Talking about where they got that like metal, they put it in like a metal box, and then they reverse the polarity and have the be attracted one way to the metal box and the other way to the metal box. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, this is going back to Dave's videos, but yeah, there's one where they've got a triangle of foil, and they reverse the polarity, and it's goes up. So basically, there's diplane or whatever. They've got, the positive on the bottom and negative at the top, and they reverse it, and so then there's levitation.
Is it in a metal structure or other container they're doing this?
It's not contained. It's like a aluminum foil triangle that is
Is there something beneath it, above it, or on the sides of it?
There's several different versions. One is it's metal plates above and below, and so the top plate is negative, the bottom plate is positive. So they're putting it between it.
Think about what they're actually doing, not what they say they're doing, because they're not making it float. They're attracting with magnetism.
Yes,
and that's omnidirectional. So what do you got?
Well, I'd have to look up I guess I'll look up the video of the thing. Again, it's what Dave claims. He shows a video once in a while, or used to. MIT's got a, I don't know what they call an ionic drive or whatever. Where
I'll help you out. I can prove that fire falls down. Okay. I got this flamethrower, and I can point it down, and fire will shoot out of it downwards. Therefore, fire goes down. Correct?
Non sequitur from the ionic drive thing that they said they have. I didn't pull it up.
Yep, they're using the same non sequitur that I just did.
Okay. I mean, I don't have a horse in the race, but the prospect of going out and checking how flooded my barn is pressing upon me at the moment.
Well, I don't have a competing theory for why things go down, go boom, boom either. We're implying that.
No, I know. It's just fascinating. And it wasn't even, well, I guess this all started with the whole gravity thing that we're so afraid of today. But it is fascinating that there is a claim that for a microsecond, there is a shifting of the polarity enough when lightning strikes. And I agree, a lot of it could be just the explosion or the concussion of
the thing is with magnetism, right? you could have two north poles, right? The polarities be stood in opposition, and they will seem to push each other apart. So if you put a magnet facing a certain way on the ground, and then you have something else that can have an electrical current flow through it, change its polarity, it can appear to float because of that repulsion of the two magnetic fields. Is that what they're thinking is
that's what's happening. It has freaking nothing to do with gravity. Nothing at all of any of this has to do with gravity. It just has to do with the effects of either electrostatic or magnetic or electrical. It's all that's all
I've had to mute you all just to catch Eli, who sounded like he was urinating.
Sorry, my bad. I was about to say something.
I muted you, Surf Daddy, and refracted. It was the quickest way. Sorry.
That's what you urinating? Yeah, we don't want to hear him go to the toilet.
No, I just wanted to know, like, when you said, damn, now I forgot. The last thing you said about that's what's happening. What's happening exactly?
Basically, there's this underwriter called Weiss and Whitsitt Underwriters, and they've come out with this thing called gravity insurance. Now, if you're worried that you're going to be affected by this ether sensation that's about to occur, then you can take out some gravity insurance. I am a broker. Feel free to send me money.
That the same people that were selling people stars?
No, insurance against the stars falling on you, I think you'll find.
Well, pay attention to that because the stars will fall from the sky.
And when that happens, you will be well covered with Weiss and Whitsitt insurance.
Stars.
Y'all can make jokes about it, but the gravitational constant in the universe may not be constant.
Exactly. You'll find out in, let me see, less than 2 hours. We will find out.
Never too late to be insured.
John, are you anchored in, John?
I went ahead and bought 3 helpings of insurance.
Can I interest anybody in the Discord server in some gravity insurance? Very good rates.
We normally sell people asteroid insurance, if that's all right.
I've got that too, but I mean, it's okay. We can compete on those scores. It'll drive the prices down. Makes us more competitive.
Okay.
So what price you pushing? We've got 3,959 for a year.
That is tremendous value.
Oh, hold on. This is going to stop everything. I was way off because you are not going to float no 20 feet. You are going to float 66 feet if we lose gravity for 7 seconds. You all better get serious now.
It's 66.6 feet, I think you'll find.
That's better.
Accuracy is the hallmark of heliocentric theology.
Here's what it says. The viral social media rumor claiming people would float 20 meters, 66 feet high during a 7-second loss of gravity is a myth. If gravity would somehow turn off, you would not float straight up like a balloon because of inertia and Earth's rotation. You would instead drift slightly upward and fly sideways at 1,000 miles per hour. So we're only going to go up a little bit and fly sideways at 1,000. We can handle that. No need for freaking insurance. The
So
Earth
why don't
only
helicopters
rotates.
go sideways at 1,000 miles an hour when they take off?
Not 1,000 miles an hour isn't that big a deal. It's only one rotation every 24 hours.
It's going to bug me if I don't do it now. Right, this derived rim velocity, the edge velocity of an alleged equatorial plane, is a derivation of a flat Earth measurement of elevation angle. That's where you get this value. It's an inferred value based on the edge size, therefore the velocity based on the 15 degrees an hour turn of the lights that we see in the sky. So start of this process to infer an edge velocity of 1,024 or whatever it is miles an hour requires you measure Earth flat to extrapolate that distance, that equatorial value, so that you can ascribe it a speed when converting it from a degree of rotation in a different type of velocity. So it's all based on flat Earth measurements. Just want to drop that in case anybody gets ahead of themselves and starts believing this bullshit while we, the flat Earthers, go through it, sniffing our own farts about how well we understand heliocentrism.
Duly noted.
You'll find out the hard way.
Yeah, we were having fun until you came around.
No. He's gonna pay for this. This is what it says. Earth spins at roughly 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. Without gravity tethering you would maintain that sideways speed and launch horizontally. If gravity 7 seconds, everything airborne, including you, the atmospheres, and oceans would slam back down at terminal velocity, causing global destruction.
Okay, so the descriptions of the velocities, bullshit though they were, are with respect to a plane. All of it. The maths they're using to try and scare you is planar mathematics. Yeah? And the only inference of sphericity was an edge velocity at the equator, end quote. What's the equator, Neil?
Oh, that's a flat Earth measurement there, the equator.
Right, so we start this process to try and scare people with a flat Earth measurement that we derive into this extrapolated value we call the equator. Yeah. That's not my equator, I don't care about any of this nonsense, but it's just being done to scare dumb people. That's as far as it goes. By somebody, an unknown source, that's laughing at people, but simultaneously giving people the idea that they can reaffirm this belief that we won't notice any effects of Earth's alleged rotation, in spite of the rhetoric actually saying a 15 degrees an hour deviation will be observable that we don't see. But what we can infer is that we wouldn't notice anything unless we stopped, and we will be stopping. You'll see the effects for 7 seconds or whatever they're claiming. So be afraid, be very afraid. Now when it doesn't happen, they'll go, oh, well, isn't that fortunate that you didn't get to experience the effects of gravity not working? So it's still working. Everybody know it's still working? Right, everybody got their belief reaffirmed? Brilliant. We'll get married next year. I mean, there'll be a point where we'll experience it stopping next year.
Well, this all comes from a NASA plan called Project Anchor. Now, why would they have it named Project Anchor if it's not going to happen, Nathan?
Couldn't care less. It's bollocks. It's just nonsense. Right, I'm going to press a few buttons. I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
You know damn well that there's a bunch of ballers hoping that this happens. We'll show them, flat earthers.
I've just got this idea of all these clowns just sitting there praying, come on, gravity's got to turn off. I've got to teach these FE guys. We've got absolutely nothing else, and this is the only thing we're going to have.
So you're like this. Gem Panda, all he needs is thousands of pictures from space to prove that Earth is a globe, and Rob Noxious, flight patterns or flight paths. That's all they need, and for them, Earth is a globe.
Photos and flights, eh?
Pictures and paths. That's all ballers need to reaffirm their nonsense.
So what about the flight paths and the photos taken from such that J. Tolan Media has done? Round 2 up with one sitting there. Be great.
Still arguing that geometric horizon that's blocking even mountains 1,000 miles away in the distance. You just don't understand that you got to be a certain height above the ground, and you can see pretty far unless you got refraction.
Seeing a distance is a flat Earth measurement of horizontal linear distance in miles or kilometres. Refraction is a deviation in the vertical with respect to said horizontal distance if you're referring it to Earth's surface. Refraction is a flat Earth measurement by prerequisite, as is distance.
Yeah, that's what I tell them, and then they come back with, you're just parroting Nathan Oakley. And that's usually where the discussion ends.
Yeah, but technically you're parroting facts, not Nathan.
I know. I could give them all kinds of citations, and they just keep throwing this 1.22 times square root of the observer's height in feet. I've got a thread that's just massive on Facebook with the whole geometric horizon stuff, and they're given the 1.22 formula, and just I laid it out. That's height, that's distance. The only measurements you have there are with respect to a horizontal plane. And man, there's some guy, I don't know if he's AI assisted or what, but he is just brutal. It's like the black swan never happened. And that concept of seeing too far with the black swan, or seeing the horizon farther than the geometric horizon is supposed to be.
Not to be a stick in the mud, brother, but can you stop calling it a black swan? It's up to the Globers to provide their black swan. That's a white swan. That's normal viewing, mate. It's not a black swan. The reason for it, we don't have a friggin' globe in the first place. So it's not really a black swan, it's a white swan. They're the ones that have got to provide the black swan for us to go, oh, wow, look, it is curved.
Yeah, they're too busy asking us for our flat Earth measurements.
Yep, you can provide those. That's not a problem. Tell us more about their beliefs. We'll sit and listen. I'll grab some popcorn too.
I'll send you a link to the Facebook thread.
Oh, mate, I'm on Facebook. They're broken in the head there. There's not much we can do about them.
Dumpster fire.
He said they're broken in there. There's not much we could do.
It's the same people everywhere. People are people. It doesn't matter which platform you're on.
Really?
Yeah, people
jump
are all
onto
same.
Facebook, jump onto TikTok, and then come back here and you'll go, you know what? They're pretty reasonable in here.
In this particular server at this particular time, maybe. We'll find out shortly. Now, I do think people are generally the same in that regard. Most people have got an average worldview when it comes to this subject, and there's a stereotype that you can apply to normie when it comes to talking about Earth and the nature thereof. Most people assume it's a ball. Most people don't know that's a religion. Most people have got no idea that the actual Earth measurements are all flat. Most people are blissfully unaware of all this stuff.
So you mean to tell me that Eratosthenes and Al-Biruni measured Earth flat?
Yeah. There aren't any other measurements of Earth. So a minute ago you were talking about black swans. What's a black swan? Well, in the modus tollens logical consistencies, if Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, that's a flat Earth distance. Then every distance, that's a flat Earth distance, to horizon measurement, in horizontal linear flat Earth miles, can be no more than 1.22 times the square root of the observer's measured height off a flat Earth, in perpendicular altitude. So we've got several flat Earth measurements before we've got to the end of the logical consistency. The distance to the oil rigs, that's a flat Earth horizontal linear measurement of distance, is beyond the limitations of the sphere edge distance, that's a flat Earth linear distance measurement, when you suggest and infer with a calculation that your measured height off a flat Earth will limit your view at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, because here's the horizon. Therefore, the Earth's not a sphere with a radius of 3959, a flat Earth derived distance. So with flat Earth distances, we can show it's not a ball. This is so redundant.
So you're saying all those flat Earth prerequisites that you just mentioned, why would we go back to saying, therefore, Earth is not a sphere? Why wouldn't we just say, therefore, Earth is flat?
Yeah, it went without saying the entire time, because both sides of the so-called argument were using flat Earth measurements the entire time. It's not like there's alternatives to the Cartesian system's flat Earth distances, perpendicular altitude, sea level, flight level, surface level, eye level. You need all of these things, and you do use them regardless of your belief in a ball. The ball uses flat Earth measurements also. It's derived from those measurements. So it can back engineer into the actual measurements of Earth's surface with things like elevation angles. The globe works because it's back engineering the flat Earth measurements into a spherical system with a protractor wrapped around you. So without the Earth being flat, you couldn't create a ball to believe in. But all of the measurements, without exception, are flat. There's no other Earth measurements. So when we take them to come up with clever logical consistencies, we're essentially whistling past, that is to say, it goes without saying, that the distance is a flat Earth measurement, that the height is perpendicular to sea level, that sea level's been measured for us to utilise it for altitudes, that eye level's parallel with surface level. You know, these are all axioms that we fundamentally require. It's just nobody says, well, if we're measuring perpendicular to sea level, then Earth is being measured flat. Nobody says it. It just went without saying. Nobody ever says, well, if we've got a horizontal distance to the oil rigs, then we've got a flat Earth measured horizontal distance that's linear then. And the answer is yes. All distance measurements are flat. There aren't any exceptions.
Is this discussed in your book?
Yes, it is. In the chapter called Earth Curve.
I think what happened was everybody was looking for Earth curves. That's why we missed all the flat Earth sine qua nons or prerequisites that without which you cannot have a globe. I think that's why we all missed it.
We were trained to.
It was there.
We were trained to ask, where's the curvature? Like where? As in a location? Like a point on the ground with coordinates measured off a flat Earth? Or a flat Earth distance away from where I am now? What's that you say? Depending on how high I am from a flat Earth will influence how far this curve is. You're like, this is ludicrous. When you break it down in the reality that we're measuring Earth flat in every single instance, it suddenly becomes so stupid when I break it down, doesn't it?
Yep.
Who knew? Who cares? Doesn't make any difference. It's still going to be measured flat tomorrow. Regardless if heliocentrism fails or not, nothing will change in terms of how Earth's actually dealt with. It was always being dealt with flat anyway. The only reason globe belief can exist is because it back engineers those flat measurements that we're using anyway. So what's got to change? If everybody stopped believing in a globe tomorrow, nothing would change. Literally nothing. Every measurement would remain the same. The tracking of every single light that we've got in the almanac would remain the same. The fact that people recognised how flat it was being measured would also not change a single thing in terms of Earth's measurement. So the so-called debate between flat earthers, actually anti-globers, saying where's the curve, and globe believers in this arena, it's actually anti-flat earthers saying aren't those people idiots, because they're already at the bottom rung of society in their dweeby little corners, would have no bearing whatsoever on how Earth was actually being dealt with in practical application. So everything we do in this regard is pure entertainment. It's moot. Nothing we do here will have any influence over Earth. If you're on the panel on Discord now believing that you're on a sphere and you suddenly change your mind, absolutely nothing will change. And you will have no
Yes.
influence or bearing over those things that were already being measured flat anyway. So
Yeah, nothing would change in reality as far as how Earth is measured, but there's going to be a lot of people that want answers from certain government freaking organizations.
Nah, give it another 10 years, and most of the people that were bullshitting at the highest degree in the 70s and 60s will be dead. So no one will care. They'll have all died off.
No, there's people freaking paying taxes into a government agency called NASA, and now you're telling me that Earth is definitely beyond a shadow of a doubt measured flat, and it's never been a sphere. So what the hell they've been doing?
Oh, well, they declare that in their
Since they
documents.
started.
When they're actually dealing with aeronautics of any actual endeavour that's consequential to the surface of Earth, then they outright declare that it's flat, don't they, Neil?
Yeah, well, they have to.
Yeah, exactly. They have to, because it's being measured that way regardless.
Yeah, but those rockets have to go a long way. Distance, long way.
Yeah, that's a flat Earth horizontal measurement, though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I didn't say it wasn't. I'm just saying they have to go a long way.
How are you?
Hey, I'm feeling a little light.
Hold on.
I'm like 10 pounds, 15 pounds lighter. What's the deal?
Okay, so for those of you who aren't in the know, in about an hour and 45 minutes or something around that sort of idea of a figure, there's an alleged halting of Earth's rotation or something to that effect, where gravity, a force that's not a force that you can think of as a force, will stop. And therefore you'll suddenly feel the effects that we don't feel when it's alleged that we should feel them but don't feel them because they're not really a force. So there's a convoluted gaggle screw of an out-of-date 111-year-old rhetoric about a force that's been superseded by a bent pseudo-Riemannian space-time geometry that is alleged to be stopping so that you'll experience it in a narcissistic, future-faking, bullshittery way that's been fed to the public through TikTok. So don't be afraid. Be very, very, very afraid you might start levitating for a period of time in under a couple of hours' time. So there you go. What a load of old nonsense.
Well, you know all the ballers are sitting there waiting for this to happen.
Well, gravity insurance is available for the gullible. In fact, I said it in jest, thinking about it. If this was actually a possibility, there would be people selling insurance, wouldn't there? People would be exploiting it for financial gain if it was real. Right, somebody would be exploiting it. But yeah, it's there as a way of scaring people. So if you're worried, don't be. It's complete nonsense. Meanwhile, objects that are moving through a gas that are more dense than the air that they traverse will move in a downward orientation with respect to a plane. That is to say, the assertion of a downward vector, if you want to call gravity that, when describing specifically objects more dense than air travelling in a downward vector, then you are measuring a flat Earth to describe that. If you weigh things, again, that are more dense than the air surrounding them, on a scale, you are also measuring Earth flat, perpendicular to a plane of reference. That's what down is. Down is perpendicular to a plane. Now, not all things move to the ground. We've got clouds. Glance up. Today is actually blue skies here. It's beautiful. Very, very hot. I'll undoubtedly be very sweaty by the end of today's show. But things don't all go down. You know, release a gas, it will dissipate. Right? If it has an odour, you'll smell it in multiple places as it expands in all directions through the gaps in the air that exist around you already. So the second law of thermodynamics violates this notion that's 111 years out of date of a Newtonian downward vector. Meanwhile, even if you take the downward vector that's inferred in this out-of-date rhetoric from 1915, well, that's the date it was superseded by bent space-time at least, then you've still got a flat Earth prerequisite downward vector to cope with. Earth's being measured flat even in their nonsense gravity. Furthermore, any measurement ever made of Earth's surface with any respect to Earth will always be a flat Earth measurement. All measurements are flat in that regard. There aren't any exceptions. There's no non-flat, non-Cartesian measurements of Earth's surface. If you're going to suggest that there's a deviation from the horizontal flat Earth measured distance, then that'll be a drop in the vertical. With respect to the horizontal, that's measuring hills. We've definitely measured hills to the millimetre accuracy. So any curve, if you will, is surveyed and documented with respect to sea level. An overall master reference that we've also measured from a flat plane, because that's what Earth is, a flat plane. If you're unaware that Earth is flat, don't let it worry you. It's not that big a deal. In order to create a sphere belief like the one depicted above me, you still need to measure Earth flat to come up with conventions like equatorial planes and latitude and longitude and time. All of these systems will still require Earth be measured flat for them, and that is indeed how Earth is measured flat to develop those systems that you can, after the fact, reify into existence and believe that you are on rather than in, as diagrammatically exampled here. It doesn't mean you are in a ball to describe this out-of-the-box mathematics of moving around the sun called heliocentrism. That is just a religious belief. But Earth will be, and can only be, measured flat to create those systems. So that won't change if you find out that Earth's actually flat, as opposed to the ball you were taught in your school education system. It'll still be flat regardless. It'll still be measured, built on, surveyed, and then moved around on. That's negotiated and navigated flat in all circumstances.
Well, then what are the measurements then, tough guy?
I just went through them, like literally 10 Y-mail models. I just literally detailed them. Surface level, sea level, eye level, altitude, angles, azimuth, directions, heights.
Give me the size.
The size? Well, the territories. I cover this in the book, right? So there's a chapter called The Offing. And in The Offing, I explain that in a very recent time, we've expanded the known territories. Now, in terms of the territories themselves, they are useful tools of propaganda. And when utilising the land masses for the purposes of propaganda, it may be that there's a benefit to the individual to distort those land masses. But in terms of the tools available, the conventions used to measure them, they are only ever flat references, flat distances, perpendicular altitudes with respect to sea level, square miles, square kilometres. Everything about any measurement of any known territory is flat. When you say give me the overall distance, well, number one, that's not my burden. I'm not a cartographer. I don't know. I have no idea what the overall size is. Have I even looked on the current available materials that suggest they have an overall area or an overall size? No. Do I care? No. Not in the slightest. But what I will absolutely assure you is if you were to, in metaphorical or literal terms, drag a tape measure across the entirety of Earth's surface, you'd be getting a horizontal linear distance measurement in kilometres or miles, because that's the only way of measuring it. So having a capability to ascribe the limits of Earth with an actual value would still be measured in the same way everything else has always been measured, which is flat. So regardless of what that value may be, it'll be a flat distance measurement.
They think that giving something an object, right? When you take measurements of an aspect, you're not giving shape account. So they're trying to strawman it into a shape so that they can debunk the shape.
Yeah, exactly. They've got a misconception about what's being described if you put it into this category area of flat versus globe. It's like, that's not like saying triangle versus square. You're describing a shape, sphericity, versus an aspect, flatness. It's like these two things are incompatible with one another. The description of a spherical surface would still be afforded you through descriptions in a Cartesian system. You'd still need length, breadth, and depth. And when it comes to measuring Earth's surface specifically, that's a lot of S's, you've got a Cartesian system with horizontal distances. Now, it might be that you've got them in 2 dimensions, and therefore you can give square miles or square kilometres to a particular landmass. It might be that you've got it in a 3rd dimension, so you're describing the perpendicular altitude with respect to the horizontal distance. That's called rise over run. Describing slopes, like hills, those have all been measured, surveyed, to the millimetre accuracy. And the millimetre accuracy of the topographical deviations is a vertical measurement with respect to horizontal distance. So we still need to measure Earth with horizontal distance. It's not about a shape when you're describing horizontal distance to Earth's surface. That's not a shape, that's an aspect. It's flat.
Yeah, the correct dichotomy, I guess you would say, would be flat versus curved, wouldn't it?
Hopefully one of my mods can stick a link to the politics server, so we are in 24/7 Flat Earth section of the politics Discord server, which is a very diverse server. I was perusing it a couple of days ago, looking through all the different rooms, listening to some of the discussions, and it is a very interesting and diverse server, probably the most diverse server I'm associated with in any capacity. So check it out, Politics Discord server. Someone will put a link to it in the live stream YouTube chat, so you can pop along and hopefully join in and participate in some of the other discussions, if not 24/7 Flat Earth. But that's where we are today. So if you did happen to join via the link, that's where you'd end up, in politics. Nice to be here, by the way. Good to have you, Nathan. Oh, well, I'm very pleased and flattered to be here.
Where's all the ballers?
They're protesting. They're on strike. They're not gonna talk to Nathan anymore.
Nah, I think they chained down. They think this is going to happen.
They're thinking about their eclipse today. They're contemplating how they...
The eclipse rather than floating away? Wow.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to be going and watching it with my kids. So they've both made themselves little eclipse viewers out of shoe boxes with a bit of tin foil and some tape.
So where is that going to be seen?
Over there.
It's like a part of mostly Spain, but like it's such a wide area too. Like northern Spain, it's going to cut through and hit southern France. But it's going to be seen from other places too. That's going to be the biggest path, or the most like percentage of the sun.
So you're saying it's going to be seen in Spain and other areas. That can never happen on a flat Earth.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, that's what they...
Was that the baseless assertion? There was no substance to that statement, Neil?
No, that's what the globalists have been saying, like, all week. They come in here, and it's been like just a parade of them. How are you guys going to explain the solar eclipse on Wednesday? And I'm like, well, same way you are. Exactly what you see is what you get. And then they don't know what they're talking about. They're completely clueless about what a solar eclipse is. Sometimes they'll get it wrong completely. They'll say like, oh, that's the Earth in between the sun and the moon. And you're like, that would be apocalypse.
Well, the eclipse is only descriptible from a plane of reference.
To describe mathematically the movements, you're describing them with respect to a plane, right? If you derive the orbital mechanics to suggest occultation, which is what was just done, that's also describing it with respect to a plane. The mathematization or descriptions that we log of these events are planar, right? That doesn't explain what it is. So you were phrasing it such that these people don't know what it is. Neither do I. Do you know what the sun is? Do you know what the moon is? Do you know what an eclipse is? The answer, if you're honest, is no. Now, you might have an explanation that's been derived from flat Earth measurements and put into this out-of-the-box thinking at an equatorial plane that you're inside with a protractor wrapped around you based on the flat Earth measurements of Polaris for a North Pole-centric system that can move around the sun on a plane with respect to that sun as the reference. That's heliocentric, but that's still planar. To describe it, that's to describe what it does in the sky. You'll describe it with angles from a plane, with movements with azimuth. That's all you can. It's just another measurement if you describe it from Earth's surface. Therefore, it can only be planar, in spite of the inference of a derived convention called heliocentrism, which is also planar in this particular example when you describe occultation.
So basically, it should be that you can only see this from a flat plane.
It's not that we can only see it from a flat plane, it's that we will only ever describe it, detail it, log it, calculate from it with respect to its measurements. And the measurements are from a plane. Like any light in the sky, this is no different. Now, the fact that, like I say, you can extrapolate out movement in an orbital mechanical motion with respect to a plane also, doesn't mean that that is an explanation for what is occurring. Quite the contrary, that system violates the base measurements of flatness when you suggest that you're on the surface to watch this occur, because the mathematics doesn't allow you to be on the surface. You're in a ball at a centre point when you're moving along in an elliptical orbital motion in the maths. You're not on the surface deriving that, far from it. So it doesn't function to view it if you want to reify that heliocentric version of the maths. But that version of the maths still requires planar measurements of angles with respect to these lights to describe the occultation that is being suggested. That doesn't mean it's real. You can't be inside a ball. If you were, we're not, you wouldn't see anything. You'd be surrounded by rock. But that's how orbital motion's described. If you want to use that to explain it, it doesn't. But does that mean I know what it is? No, it doesn't. I wouldn't be so bold. I know what the sun is, don't know what the moon is, don't know what an eclipse is. It's a phenomena.
Yeah, but it casts a spherical shadow that can only happen on a globe.
Again, you're working outside of the convention of heliocentrism, which would describe the sphericity of the occultation when describing it on a motion from within a ball, not on a ball, Neil. Second time. So your inference is an orbital mechanical occultation claim.
No. We derive everything from in a ball, but in reality, we're on the surface, Nathan. Come on.
No, that's a reification fallacy. You're working outside the convention. The convention might work in terms of being able to better predict these things, which is all heliocentrism's for. That's its only purpose. Better predicting the movements of the lights. And at the moment, it's the pinnacle of what humanity has to explain those movements. But it's very much out-of-the-box thinking, or you could rather more accurately say inside the globe thinking, with a protractor wrapped around you at a centre point. Being inside a globe to describe these motions. Moreover, I don't know if this necessarily applies to epicycles / retrograde motion, but for this to be heliocentric, it's more accurately, John called me on this a couple of weeks ago, to describe this motion with respect to the inside of the sun on a plane, because it's derived sun-centric from the centre of the sun. That's the central position to describe these motions to account for the retrograde motion, right, with ellipses and orbits sun-centric. So, yeah, it's an extraordinary claim in mathematics, but from a purpose of trying to just explain and predict where these things will be, that's satisfactory, I would say, in terms of its ability to achieve that ends. And it's still used, right? They still plan when Easter's going to be based on heliocentric motion. The church is still using it in the way it was originally intended. It was one of the first things I asked my uncle, he's now retired, but he used to be a pastor. And that's what he explained to me. He's like, that's where we get these times from. And then later I read another book on it in more detail about the derivations from the Roman Catholic Church. That book was called The Sun in the Church. But yeah, these systems are still being practically applied by Christians for their original intended purpose. Doesn't mean we're in a ball. We can't be in a ball. We're not in a ball, right? We're not in a Polaris-centered system in a ball, describing the motion not even from that ball, from a different ball that we say we're in the sun. This is just, what's the word? Bollocks.
I can't believe there's nobody here to defend this. Oh, my goodness.
What's to defend? I'm leaning into it. I'm saying it's a good system. It's the pinnacle of... I just said it was the pinnacle of what we've got to explain these movements. What's to brace against? I'm leaning right into it, which I like. About 5 years ago, I used to say, I quite admire the heliocentric system for its complexity. I'm not a Satanist, in case anybody in the comment section is going to be so bold as to suddenly infer that I'm a heliocentrist. I'm not. To be a heliocentrist is to reify this mathematical system the church came up with into what Neil just did. On a ball, not in a ball. No. Now, you can't be on the protractor that you've measured the angles with respect to. You're violating the baseline of the protractor. That's the Polaris measurements on the outside edge of a globe. If you think you're on it, then you're violating the baseline that creates those latitude lines. So, no, you've got to be in it. The ball, that is. With it having the protractor wrapped around you to describe these motions. It's called the equatorial plane.
Nathan,
and what do you know, right on
cue? Go inside the Earth.
Yeah, in a ball. Exactly. Like this says, equator. Right? Well, north is not above you. That's a bastardization. It's got a fallacy named after it. Wrong direction fallacy. That's north. That's not north. Right? See on this diagram where it's got north pointing up? It's not north. You can derive north from two different systems. One is with Polaris and one is with magnetic field lines. But you're deriving horizontal azimuth for directionality. The fact that you can derive it from the North Star as you use it for angles gives you a different system, the glorified protractor. That's latitude. I trimmed up the video from the two chicks that we covered over the last couple of days. One turned into a 15-minute long video, and the other turned into like a 2-minute video with Eli mostly talking. Because at one point Eli's saying, isn't it sad that videographers cover people who are covering people? Isn't that sad? And it's like, literally, when he's saying it, I've got somebody above me that we're covering who's covering someone else.
I did see that video. That was funny at the end when you said that. Meanwhile, you're doing the same thing. Yeah, that was cool.
And then the other girl was the one who was talking about the eclipse and rising and setting suns, etc. And I actually trimmed out the section from the Jaffa Cakes ad. You know, full moon with a Jaffa Cake. Half moon. Total eclipse.
That reminds me, sunrise and sunset only exist on a globe.
Sunrise and sunset actually debunk a flat Earth. No, rising and setting.
Increase of elevation angle through the day and its setting is the decrease of elevation angle proves that it's not flat.
Yeah, decrease in elevation angle with respect to a flat baseline proves it's not got a flat baseline. We had some adenoidal dude that was saying this in case the audience are worrying about what our in-jokes are. Very poor form on our part. But I've explained the in-joke now, so it's not an in-joke.
You were having a conversation the other day.
I'm done. I'm leaving politics. Well, it's been a pleasure being here. I don't associate with thieves. This man is a thief, so I don't want to associate myself with him. So either this man's muted and I don't talk to him, or I'm going to have to disappear from politics. I'm not going to hang around with this thief. You are a thief. I do not want to talk to you.
Unsubstantiated allegations.
Somebody mute him or I've got to disappear. I don't want to hang around with this thief.
You did say that the...
right, well, it's been fun being in politics. Thank you very much for having me. You can enjoy your time with this thief.
100%
I do not want to hang around with this thief, so I'll now be disappearing from politics, so I don't have to be in the company of thieves. Thank you, politics, for having me. Enjoy your time with this thief. I'm not going to spend my time with thieves. Absolutely not. Don't steal from me. Don't expect me to spend my time with you.
They muted him.
Oh, did they?
Yes. Now, just explain why, Nathan, because they're going to be wondering why you don't want to engage with them.
Neil. I haven't muted him. I don't want to be in this company, Neil. They haven't muted him. I'm going to go somewhere else. I don't want to be in amongst thieves.
That's like 50% of the map.
Yeah, they can entertain this thief instead. I don't want to be in there in that server if there's a thief in there. I will treat anybody the same, right? If you thieve from me, I will remove myself from you or remove you from me. Right, that is perfectly reasonable as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you want to moan and say, oh, we're quite enjoying you being in politics, yeah, well, unfortunately, if you, the politics server, allow thieves in your presence that have stolen from me, I don't want to be around you or the people that you're associated with. So I'll just choose to do the other thing, which isn't sit there indefinitely insisting that somebody's removed from their server. They can have whoever they like there. But because that man has stolen from me, I don't want to be in his company. It is that simple. Perfectly
I just
reasonable.
checked. He's on mute. He's on server mute now.
Too late. Second attempt. We'll go back in politics some other time. But for now, it's like, no. I don't want to be in the company of thieves. I've said it twice. I won't say it a third time.
Yeah, he screwed himself up. So you should never engage with him again, ever.
Speaking of which, I actually sent SciManDan an email about this very subject. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
So, SciManDan recently did a video, and in his video, he's saying he's read my book, right? Now, on his video, he displays the book that he's alleged to have read, and it had all the hallmarks of being a pirated, stolen version. So, I wrote him a quick email. To SciManDan Productions Limited, company number 134642213, Measured Flat Piracy. Dear Charlotte, firstly, thank you for your purchase and subsequent coverage of my new book, Measured Flat. I am delighted that you can make a commercial profit from my hard work publishing this material as a means to support my family. However, it has been brought to my attention that the book shown in your video has all the hallmarks of an illegally downloaded, pirated version of my book. As you are aware, piracy is a crime. Obviously, I want to assure any who suggest you are a common thief that this is not the case, and you have legitimately purchased a copy of my copywritten material. Please can you provide me with an order number provided you when you purchase the book so I can assure any who suggests otherwise that you are not a pirate profiting from stolen material. I'm sure there is a perfectly reasonable explanation why the book shown in your video matches pirated versions of my book. I look forward to your swift response. For clarification, I am asking you for the, quote, order number, end quote, you acquired when purchasing the book shown on your YouTube video to prevent bad actors verbally suggesting you have used a stolen copy of my work for commercial use in your YouTube video. I am confident you have this order number and will be keen to demonstrate your integrity and honesty in this regard. Thanks in advance. Yours sincerely, Nathan Oakley. And then I quoted the UK.gov site for the logical framework and enforcement in this regard. It says, legislation. Changes to the Copyright Designs and Patents Act of 1988 raised the maximum custodial sentence from 2 years to 10 years for an indictable copyright offence. That's my email to SciManDan. I'm sure he'll get back to me with his order number, demonstrating his complete innocence in this regard.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
Well, if I don't get a response, I can only make a certain amount of assumptions. I mean, I'm tempted to write out to a couple of other people and ask them the same question. See if the standard is, oh yeah, of course, here's my order number. Oh, thank you very much. Do you know what I mean? I haven't decided whether or not I'll do that yet. Or whether I'll compile a list of thieves and deliver them to my local authorities. That would be the police. That's who you normally deal with when it comes to theft. I, in the 20 seconds of watching Dan's video, noticed that he was specifically noting that I'd called the police and reported the theft when someone stole from me previously, which I absolutely did do. Go ahead, Len.
That's exactly what you should be doing with them, because they've been profiting off you.
Yeah, what surprises me, Len, is that these people who, let's be honest, are just generally people, they're just normal people, right? They're not poor. These aren't tramps. These aren't people on the breadline. These are YouTubers. In other words, when I decided, I just took the advisement of the publisher, but what the price was going to be, he picked a price that would sell. In other words, that people would go, oh, that's a no-brainer. So I was delighted when Ronnie of Awake Souls, I think it's Ronnie and Jason, I couldn't remember the one guy's name, I'm going to have to confirm that it is, but Ronnie was saying, the book's cheap. And you're like, good, I'm glad you've taken that attitude, because that's the attitude where people will go, I'll buy 2 copies. I'll send one to a friend. And that's exactly what's happened. So when it comes to a book that I'm only doing this work to feed the kids and keep the lights on, that's the purpose. It's a commercial entity, like SciManDan Productions Limited, under his presumably wife's name, Charlotte, at Company House. Right, so it's a commercial entity. Dan's using this material to make money, and more power to him. The amount of times I've gone, all right, SciManDan's out making a living as a YouTuber. Well, more power to you. Go and like and subscribe. Let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me and all that stuff. Right, that's generally my attitude. He's just a fellow YouTuber. So when it comes to not paying $15 and choosing to rather risk being branded a thief, that's the level that the people who oppose us have decided to sink to. I would rather be branded a thief than take this material that I'm going to turn into a commercial entity, make money from, because it might support somebody I don't agree with. Like, okay, so you have now justified in your own mind stealing from that person. Okay, no worries. But I am going to call it out, in case you hadn't noticed. Whenever I catch a thief, and they haven't given me a justifiable explanation for why they've got a stolen copy, I just call them out for it now. Oh no, I got gifted it. I'm allowed to have a sharing. No, bullshit. Don't bullshit me. I will just call you a thief. Now, if you're not, you'll go, of course I purchased it. Here's my order number. How dare you even infer? No, I wouldn't infer. Like I didn't with Dan. I've thanked him for his purchase. I'm assuming he has purchased it. Right? Anyway.
Well, that pretty much ends Bear's freaking logic that you need him.
Was it Bear saying that I need to be in his... No, I don't need to be in the company of thieves. No, thank you. Generally speaking, when that happens,
the commodity.
I kick those people to the curb. Yeah, thieves. I don't want to be in your company if you're a thief. If you're going to steal from me. Yeah, it's one thing being scummy and talking about my kids, but it's another to steal from me, send the police round, send social service. That's just scummy behaviour. Same with Brenda. Yeah? Scum that wants to have my kids taken away from me. Same with Mr. Sensible. Scum that wants to weaponise real men. These beaters of the world. These pathetic, dickless men.
Yeah, and she came on that one time. I heard it the other day on the Uncut After Show. She came on and she said it in a way where I don't think Nathan should, it's wrong to hit his child one time. I was like, this freaking piece of crap.
Go on, Christian.
Oh, check out this BS that's in DD's server chat that keeps being repeated. If buying, hold on. If buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. They just keep make-believing justification for it.
Well,
no,
who said that? Because that
You're
to me says
dead wrong.
Well, that to me says this person is justifying thievery in the same way as when it was Bear. It's thousands of people have downloaded it. What you mean is you want to dilute that you've stolen it, and this is no different. When you try and justify it, it's like, yeah, most narcissists wouldn't care, therefore wouldn't even attempt to justify it, but normal people do because they've got a guilty conscience. So they either want to dilute their wrongdoing, justify their wrongdoing, or explain how it's not wrongdoing. You're like, no. If you're unaware, right? I jokingly, after the book had come out a day after, played that video from the 90s where it's got the music dum dum duddle diddle dum dum duddle diddle dum dum, and it says you wouldn't steal a car, and it's got someone trying to break into a car, and then it says dum dum duddle you wouldn't steal a handbag, and then it shows someone mugging somebody. And then it says, downloading pirated material is theft. It's a crime. It's just that simple. Now, if you want to steal from me, yeah, you're never going to hear the end of it. Like, you guys try and hang us out to dry constantly as being scumbags. You're a bunch of thieves. Yeah? If I'm to believe one of these individuals, it's been downloaded illegally, quote, thousands of times. Oh, by who? Oh, well, none of us. You're like, you're having me on, right? We know exactly who you are. You're a bunch of thieves. Now, I've just positively spin this. All right, the book's been downloaded thousands of times. Wow, it's incredibly popular then. It doesn't change that you are a thief. Yeah? Can't you afford $15? Oh, you'd rather be branded a thief than support me with the $4.49 that I or somebody who's an affiliate gets from the book sale. You'd rather be branded a thief than contribute $4 to me. What's going on with my preview screen? Got a very twitchy YouTube today saying...
That's all you're making on each book?
Yeah, 30%. That's what you make as an affiliate. So if you sell the book, so if, let's say for the sake of argument, you went below this video, clicked on the affiliate link, left your email address, and then 24 hours later, or however long it takes, you added your bank details, right? After the publisher approves you, right? You then get your link and you put it under your video. Because it's already connected to your bank, admittedly it takes a day or two, but within a very reasonable amount of time, once somebody clicks on that book and pays $14.97 for measured flat, you as the affiliate get 30%. So do I. I get the same amount when that book sells. So absolutely, that's the amount. You get just under, well, it's not quite $5, but you know what I mean? It's not quite $15 for the book at retail. So yeah, but I think that's very good. It's more than you get from Amazon. I'm delighted. I am absolutely made up. Like, I'm not saying my financial woes are over or anything. I mean, I think it might have sold 150 copies so far in its first 10 days. But that's still fantastic for me. So my wife set up as an affiliate. She's laughing. She's doing really well. She's really happy. And as promised, that's what I said she could do. I was like, I'll sign you up as an affiliate. And then if we can sell some books through your link, you'll make that money. You'll make the same as I do. And she has. She's elated.
Well, how is it not 70-30 to the writer?
I don't know, who cares? I'm very happy, right? I'm not going to be knocking my publisher. I'm very happy with what he's done so far. I'm elated
that's right,
with
the publisher, I forgot. Yeah, he's got to make money too. You're right.
He's got to make, he makes the same. He makes 30% too. And then there's 10% off to do little incentives and stuff for various different people. So if you recommend an affiliate, there's a certain amount of funds to allocate for people who have passed on an affiliate via a link that they've used and things like that. And you can do promotions with the last 10%. And, you know, there's a little bit of slush if you don't divide it up equally into thirds. So it's 30% for me, 30% for an affiliate, 30% for the publisher, and then there's 10% left over to register the book, get the IEN number or whatever it was called, that you can download it from a library, get it registered in UK and the States as my intellectual property. That all cost a little bit of money. And to his credit, my publisher, that is, he paid for all that before we sold a single copy. So,
what's the number for the libraries? Isn't there a number that you have to have?
I can get that. The ISBN number. Yeah, I'll get that. It has one. It's already been registered for it, so it doesn't exist. It's just a case of me getting it. Yeah. So cool. But yeah, I hope people do. If you want to earn just under $5 from selling my book, I would have killed to have an affiliate program like that 5 years ago. You know, even now, I've nobody ever approached me because presumably they don't want their item, whatever crap that they want to sell on YouTube, sold by a means that's flat earthing. That's me. So therefore, the opportunity to sell crappy Chinese Raycons or Raid Shadow Legends or NordVPN has been thin, if not non-existent. You know, don't get me wrong, I have been approached a couple of times for various different things. Not that I've been interested in any of them. But, you know, it's nice to have the option. And, you know, having an affiliate program, having something below your video that you can say, go and buy this that I've talked about in the show and make some money from it. Like I say, as a YouTuber, most people have got that high on their priority list to expand the amount that they can earn as revenue from doing this. So the fact that I can actually offer that to the people watching who are proactively making videos, which in a concentrated arena is actually a lot higher than I thought. The amount of people who've signed up for affiliates, man, it is bonkers. I thought it'd be one or two. It isn't. Loads of people. There's dozens of people who've signed up as an affiliate, and they've started selling books already. So there's already people who've made money off Measured Flat that aren't me, that will have money go into their bank as a consequence of them selling a copy via their link. That's already happened. Amazing. I'm literally stuttering. I'm lost for words that that's the case. It's amazing. And it's well received. It's already had a review. That's something I should plug, really. If you've read the book, because it's now been long enough for a few of you to actually bought it and have read it, go and leave a review, like 2 or 3 lines on the website. And, just give it 5 stars, because it's a fantastic book, of course. And tell the world how wonderful you found it. Somebody's already read it. Did I read this out already? I think I did. I read it out on yesterday's show, didn't I? I won't do it again. We are now in, for my audience's benefit, the Flipside Discord server. This is typically where we are when we want a quieter day, as it's a more heavily moderated, flat Earth biased server. So Flipside is where we are currently. There's a link that's typically always in the info box below this video if you wanted to join this particular Discord server. Not often I shout out 2 different servers on one show, but as I explained earlier, we were amongst thieves and I didn't want to be. So I don't want to be associated with people who are stealing from me. I just can't bring myself to do it. I've sacked people from my company for doing exactly that, for stealing from me. Yeah. So it's ironic that SciManDan, who's being asked to justify that he hasn't got a stolen copy of my book, obviously we wouldn't want any bad actors calling SciManDan a thief now, would we? But it's interesting that in the opener of his video, he's talking about how I was previously stolen from. In other words, the lowbrow drama of the book, as opposed to the fact that Earth is measured flat, and that's riddled throughout every single page of the pirated and legitimate copies.
Oh, FE Jedi's in here. What's up, Jedi?
Yeah, what's up, Neil? I just came in because obviously Nathan left's politics server. I was making coffee and doing some washing up, mate, so I couldn't get to my mute button. He did leave eventually after 5 minutes after I had a conversation with him, which went downhill really, really fast. But yeah, apologies that we didn't get to mute the thief quick enough, mate.
Ceremoniously, I kind of hoped that would be the case anyway for the dramatic effect. Yeah, I'll be back in politics. I really do like the politics server. Given that I've never been banned, to my knowledge, from any server except politics temporarily, and I still go back and praise it as I give it the highest degree of praise of any server, literally. Which most people would be like, well, surely you wouldn't. You'd be bitter about getting kicked out and banned. It's like, no, I used the N-word. I would justify the context that I used it in. It's part of the rules. I broke them. I got banned. I can't really moan. But I still think it's a wonderful server. I really do like politics because it's so well moderated. Even when I'm the one doing the digressions, is that the right word? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it is a good serve. We've worked really hard in the way that we moderate it, and rules get broken, wrists get slapped, and everyone's welcome back on the next show. Blah blah blah. But yeah, like I said, I just popped over because of what happened before. Hope everything's cool.
Yeah, it's not the server's fault. It's just he's a thief. I don't want to be in his company. So I'll make that clear whenever he pops in. He's a bit of a groupie and follows me around, so it's going to happen again. But I'll plug that. A couple of days ago, I just happened to, because I like politics, I thought I'll have a mooch around in the other rooms. I've never been in any of them. And I was intrigued with the diversity inside the politics server. There's so many different people of so many different varieties, races, colours, creeds, sexes. There's everybody in there, from teenagers all the way through to elderly people thrashing it out in these different servers in the politics room. Don't get me wrong, there's obviously the occasional room that's got 5 or 10 or 20 or more people in that none of them are talking, but not very often.
It's a great place to have new conversations because, as you said, it's really, really diverse. Lots of people from all over the world, different cultures and backgrounds. So there's always a new conversation with a new person that's potentially going to happen. So it's a good place to have these conversations. It has to be highly moderated though, because you can imagine what it can get like sometimes. But all in all, it's a good place to have new conversations, which is what we want.
Yeah, it's good that it's gone that way, which is the server that's got people who are serious about keeping the place in check, keeping standards, is the one that gets the most popular and has the most rooms and has got the most participation and the least people talking over each other. Obviously, that's always going to happen. But I've been in some servers, admittedly, when Discord was a lot newer, where you walked into a room and there'd be, and I kid you not, half a dozen to a dozen people all talking simultaneously. And you're like, how can anybody stomach this complete earache? It's complete chaos. Not in politics. Very, very rarely do people even talk over each other. Which is good.
We've got an extra stick as well because we're live streaming on YouTube and stuff, so we can always, we're curating a show like you do as well, right? You're providing something for your audience. So when there's 5, 6, 7 people talking over each other, that gets sorted out really, really quickly. People who've been around our channels before understand that we're live streaming and so on, and the room's highly moderated, and people that come in new soon find out what it's all about.
Sweet. Yeah,
It was a pleasant surprise to see you over there, Nathan. Like I said, I just popped over to see everything was cool and so on. Don't mean to interrupt your show, mate.
No. Pleasure to have you here. I just don't have a video to cover. So yesterday we were covering a chick that was talking about Eric Dubay. The day before we were covering a chick that was covering Coriolis Effect. And there was an idea that we would cover a different chick today and call it Bimbo Week. But we didn't. So I just ended up toddling into a different server, which was Politics Today because it had the most people, which is often the case. Go on.
Well, Edibear's a bimbo, so you could still call it Bimbo Week.
Oh, dear. Now, I quite enjoyed covering those couple of videos. I hope we do a few more. I may or may not have a show tomorrow. It's my birthday, so I might decide to take the day off. I haven't decided yet. Some good e-begging generally on your birthday.
So you're born on the 13th?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Back in Africa, back when I was a woman.
Do you realize that in Manhattan, the floors go from 1 to whatever, but when you get to 12, it goes right to 14? They skip to number 13?
Yeah, they do that in Vegas too. No one wants to stay on the 13th floor if you're gambling. Not that I did any gambling in Vegas. I was there for business.
Sure, you realize that the 14th floor is actually the 13th floor, right?
Yeah, but they have it staggered slightly differently as well with a double-floored lobby, just to throw you off a little bit more.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the numbers don't make any sense. You'll have to spend a couple of minutes trying to figure out what floor you are in. Now, I managed to do it because there was... what's the group of 5 brothers and sisters singers? Vegas performers. I can't remember the name of the
Osmonds?
The what?
The Osmonds?
The Osmonds. Donny Osmond, right. So the Flamingo Hotel that I stayed in when I was in Vegas, we were doing a show there, the Hi-Fi or the Home Electronic Show or whatever it's called, which also had the porno show, like, below us. Anyway, I figured out what floor I was on because I knew which part of the picture of Donny Osmond I was looking out of. I figured out where his eyeball was because I was looking out of his eyeball. And then I could figure out which floor it was. Anyway, that aside, they make it complicated enough so that after 1 or 2 drinks, you're going to lose interest pretty quickly. And not concern yourself that you're actually, strictly speaking, on the 13th floor. Which wouldn't be if, like I say, you've got a double-floored lobby.
Superstitious people, boy.
They hated me in Vegas. So I was there, like I say, doing the show, showing off the electronics and trying to drum up business. That was my reason to be there. But we went there with a couple of people from the factory, like the one guy that made the DACs and one guy that made the power amps. And we took them with us to do work, right? But they're in Vegas. So, of course, they're all bringing wadges of money to gamble with in Vegas. And me, I don't gamble. My grandma used to say that gambling was the devil. So I don't gamble. Anyway, I didn't bring any money to gamble with and I had absolutely no intention of gambling. But one of the evenings, the 2 guys that were a similar age to me, the guys from the factory, asked me if I wanted to go out and watch them gamble. So I'm like, I've got nothing better to do. So I went out with them, got a McDonald's, and eventually they end up in one of the casinos, right? And after you've been to the shops and seen Superman's cape in a display cabinet and you've seen other crap that you don't want to buy for hundreds if not thousands of dollars, you end up in the casino and there's all the one-armed bandits and tables and such like. Anyway, I'm walking around, and everyone who's gambling, the waitresses come and give them free drinks, but they obviously know who's spending money and who isn't, because they'd never offer me a free drink. Like, I'm not that interested. I'm here to work. I don't care about getting drunk. But one of the guys, Damien, his name was, were like, well, you've got to gamble. I'm like, no. And he's like, well, here's $20. You must gamble with it. So I took it and immediately put it in my wallet. He's like, no. I insist that you gamble with it. So I would have just put it in my wallet and kept it. So he made me put it into a one-arm bandit. Just one hit, $20, a higher expensive one-arm bandit. And I pulled it and won. And the money comes out, and I immediately put that in the wallet. And he's like, well, no, you've got to now use that and gamble that on other machines and stuff. And I was like, no, I will be keeping that money. And I didn't do any more gambling, right? I only gambled with the money he gave me, and I kept the winnings. Now, by the end of the weekend, on the Monday or Tuesday or whatever, we've packed up the show, and it's all been shipped off. For the union guys have packed it up and taken it away wherever it's going, and you hope you'll get it. And we're on the plane, we're going home. And they're all talking about how much they've lost. And the managing director's talking about how he's lost something like 20 grand, like an absolutely ludicrous amount of money. One of the older guys who worked in the factory that was hanging around with him had lost about 5 grand. And the two guys that are with me have lost several $100s. And they're like, what about you? I'm like, I think I'm up about $50. I didn't spend a penny. Don't gamble. It's just a stupid waste of time. But I was the only one who was up, and I had absolutely no intention of gambling, and what I did gamble wasn't mine. It was given to me just so I could be in the casino with them getting a free drink out of a waitress. Anyway, that's my gambling story.
You got Joseph De Freitas says, I will definitely do a review on the book as I'm really enjoying it. I've been watching you for over 8 years now, so it's all very familiar, but always great to see it put together chapter by chapter.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Hopefully get a 5-star review out of that one. One other anecdote. You know, so when I went to get a McDonald's when I was out of the town with these guys from the factory, I'm eating this cheeseburger or whatever I've got from McDonald's, and we're just walking along the strip or whatever they call it in Vegas. And suddenly, while I'm eating, I'm confronted by what looked like an electricity pylon or something, like a giant piece of iron in the middle of the street blocking my way. I'm like, what the hell is this? What idiot has put something that's so physically, structurally large? Like, what is this? And you go, what am I looking at? And you glance up, and it is a 1/3 scale model of the Eiffel Tower. Just poking into the middle of the street. And you're like, what the hell? And it's just sat outside the Parisian. You're like, what? And you just stood right at the foot of it. I mean, it's nowhere near as big as the real thing, but it's still massive. And it's just, like I say, one leg of it's just poking into the middle of the street, blocking your way. It's bizarre. Very strange place, Vegas. I don't know how we got talking about Vegas. We're coming up on an hour. Fun. Do you think I should have the day off tomorrow? It's my birthday. Yes, Nathan, you've earned it. Oh, I think so too. I think I might schedule a show.
Of course, it's your birthday. Take a day off and enjoy it with the family.
Problem is, I really enjoy doing the show. I like doing this. This is fun.
So don't do a friggin' 8-hour show tomorrow. Do a nice little show and then enjoy the day.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll do. I'll start a very short time before the live show normally starts, like 10 or 15 minutes before the hour. Do a hour-long live show like we've done today, because we're coming up on the hour. And then round out 5-10 minutes afterwards, rather than sticking around in whatever server for hours and hours on end.
Yeah, do a normal live stream and then enjoy your birthday with your family.
Did you want to hear some of the shorts that I've produced?
Yes, please.
A couple of them are members only at the moment, so I do publish these on TikTok and on Instagram, which I'm not monetized on. I just don't have a big enough channel. But you can watch them on Instagram and TikTok, because they don't have a delayed start feature. So I just publish them as soon as I get them, whereas they are actually all on YouTube, at least members only currently. Where the hell is it? There it is. She hasn't actually explained anything. She's just talking to us like we're 3-year-olds and don't understand. Like, I remember a Jaffa Cake advert where literally there's a teacher teaching the kids about the moon phase cycles with Jaffa Cakes. And she's like, full moon.
Full moon.
Half moon.
Half moon.
Total eclipse.
Total eclipse.
With Jaffa Cakes.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, Miss.
Full moon.
Full moon.
Half moon.
Half moon.
Total eclipse.
Total eclipse.
Good. Now, let's do it one more time.
Many of those happen during the day.
Wow.
For example, the first quarter moon is
Yeah, so I said, oh, wow. It's amazing. Yeah, it's almost like the sun and moon are on slightly different cycles, like a lunar cycle and a solar cycle. Amazing.
visible in the afternoon and evening. Third quarter moon is visible late night into the early morning. And the crescent moon is often visible shortly after sunrise or...
What? Do you think that these are set? No, they're moving on different cycles. They can happen at alternating times. That's to say these phases can occur throughout the year at all sorts of different times with respect to the sun, because they're on different cycles. I mean, that seems obvious to me, but to you, it's like you think they're on a consistent pattern together. Like at certain times of the night, with respect to the day cycle, we'll get a certain type of moon phase. That's fundamentally incorrect. It's spend much time looking at the sun and moon, my love.
Or before sunset.
Sorry, sunset, did you say? A sunset is a planar description. To be setting is to be moving in the vertical with respect to the horizon. That's the horizontal with respect to the vertical. To be setting, to paraphrase somebody who came across our company in recent times. Actually, sunrise and sunset can only happen with respect to a plane. That's paraphrasing, of course.
Sunrise and sunset alone.
Sunrise and sunset debunks flat Earth.
Hold on.
Yeah, she hasn't actually explained anything. She's just talking to us like we're 3-year-olds and don't understand. That's one of them. I'll just put the other one up. That one was called Setting Sun and Jaffa Cake Eclipse. And this other one is Emma's Furry Cup of SciManDan.
To the flat earther idiot brain.
Their globe earth reference frames are ruined, end quote him. You think he's smart?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
There's that buffer again. She's saying SciManDan has all the information. That's letting us know right now her information is as good as his gossip. If you look at YouTube culture right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, there's a bunch of people reviewing people who are reviewing things. And that's what's happening here. She's reviewing someone who's reviewing a flat earther. And that's as far as people's awareness gets to flat earth right now. They have no idea what listening to the source sounds like, but they think they know everything because they got the gist of it from someone that they trust. Maybe she didn't really know about this particular subject, but to feel smart, like, oh, let me watch a couple of science videos. You run across SciManDan and you also think flat earth is ridiculous, and boom, you're already a YouTube channel or you're already an influencer, and you run across SciManDan and you're like, this is all I need to know what I know. But we know better than that. We know that's not true. She's just making a fool out of herself. She's going to learn today.
Well, I agree. It's just lazy videography, covering people who are covering people. Absolutely, totally lazy videography. Anyway, let's get back to our coverage of Emma covering Eric Dubay.
Nevertheless, I think that my idiot brain is the perfect counter to the flat earther idiot brain.
Their globe earth reference frames are... Okay, so that one was called Emma's Furry Cup of SciManDan. And there's one other. Do you like the title? Furry Cup of SciManDan. And
that was funny, the end of that one. I like that one.
This last one is actually published already. Check out Measured Flat by Nathan Oakley. It's the book everybody's fighting to talk about.
So what is that according to you?
A flat earth measurement from surface level. If it's in the vertical, if you're describing a 45-degree angle to Polaris, then that's a flat earth measurement along a flat earth baseline for a flat earth degree from the horizontal in the vertical at a measured value of 45 degrees. That's a flat earth vertical altitude angle measurement. That's what you've just described, your measurement of a flat earth that you call latitude for your global system. So it's almost like you think this is global. Kind of like I described earlier, you've came to me with a flat earth measurement on a pillow. I don't have to claim anything. My opponents use flat earth measurements to suggest and infer that we have some sort of sphericity. No, these are flat earth measurements. North, south, degrees, in the vertical or horizontal, they're all with respect to a plane. That's what you're asking me about.
They're not definitions. They're not definitions that anybody else uses other than Nathan. Don't worry.
You are talking about Polaris, but you can't see Polaris from 45
Does
degrees
a
south.
lady flat earther actually write a scientific paper and submit it to the Nature Scientific Journal?
Sorry, am I hearing the adenoidal thief again? Is it just me, or do we hear this dweeb who's stolen my book talking like he has some credibility? He's got the word T on his hand, but he thinks that we're going to listen to him babble on with his adenoidal voice. Every time you talk, my friend, Gertrude Perkins, right? You're going to get called a thief, because that's what you are.
Interacting with.
Nobody wants to hear from a thief. Nobody wants to hear from a thief.
I've got my eye on you, thief.
Yeah. If you thieve from me, I'm not going to engage with you. I mean, if you think that's unreasonable, because it was suggested in the pre-show that I was unreasonable or running away from a thief. Now, that is general normal behaviour. When you encounter a thief, people don't want to interact with you. That's all that's going to happen when this person talks in his adenoidal dweeby voice, stuck in his 12-year-old state, looking at space and thinking that he's going to go on a rocket. Whilst talking about my book he's stolen, he's just going to get called a thief every single time he opens his mouth.
He can hear me talking, which is why he's waffling on his end, because he doesn't want me interacting with his audience, because there's no point. Because his definitions are all made up, his ad homs are boundless. There's no point talking to him.
My definition of azimuth's made up. Okay. No, the guy appealed to North and South. That wasn't me appealing to it.
Ching, it's been at least 3 or 4 minutes since you've re-advertised your book.
Okay, let's do that. You can check out my book that everybody's got on the tip of their tongue by checking out the info box below this video. It's called Measured Flat by Nathan Oakley. It's the talk of the town. It's been downloaded thousands of times. It's incredibly popular. It's generated a huge amount of controversy. Everybody's talking about it, including this guy now, and he suggested I'm giving it a plug. Well, I don't mind. Thank you very much. Good opportunity to plug my book. Thank you.
Give it another plug.
Give it another plug? Oh, no worries. Check out Measured Flat by Nathan Oakley. It's the book everybody's fighting to talk about. That's it. That's the end. All right, any last comments before I round out the live show? Go ahead.
Gertrude needs to be renamed Marvin the Martian.
Like I said, I don't want to interact with him either. These people are like, I wouldn't pay for that book. Like, right, so you're a thief. I got gifted it. You're like, again, don't bullshit me. If you're a thief, you're a thief. Just accept it. Right? None of you people are clambering to give me order numbers to prove your innocence and show that you haven't actually stolen a copy. It's always justification for why you wouldn't pay for it, why it's not really theft when you take a copy that you haven't paid for. There's always some justification from thieves. But if you don't want to be branded a thief, obviously you can purchase a copy, which most people have, to be fair. Check it out. There's a link in the info box to Measured Flat, which is genuinely the talk of the town currently. Everyone's talking about it. It's caused quite a considerable stir. That's with no doubt. Also, as I said earlier, at the beginning of the show at least, you can become an affiliate. You can actually sell copies of the book yourself, and many have done already. So thank you to all of you who've become affiliates. I really, really appreciate it. I'm slightly overwhelmed with the amount of you who've actually done this already, and are obviously making money from the book from putting links underneath your videos. So thank you very much indeed. Also, shout out, if I don't do a show tomorrow, to Tamara, that's Level Plain Poem. She has got a video that's coming out where she is interviewed about her poems, and she's already given me a heads up that she gave me a shout out and Measured Flat a shout out on that interview. So that's coming out tomorrow on the 13th on my birthday. So check it out, Level Plain Poem interview on... I need to check that actually, let's do that. Can you talk amongst yourselves while I look up what channel Tamara Cheville is on tomorrow? Hopefully you guys won't leave me in the lurch while I'm looking her up. Yes, Nathan, we're really appreciative that you're looking this up, so we'll talk. Oh, well, I'm glad that you're also concerned and keeping the momentum going while I'm trying to do two things at once. Very grateful to you all, I am.
Right now?
I can hear you.
Mic check.
Yeah, we hear you. Sorry. I had actually closed all the lines to do the round up. That's my fault.
Okay. Well, to tie in with the gravity day and the solar eclipse, the scuttlebutt is that the Foucault pendulum reverses its motion during solar eclipses. So that may be what ties everything in. And what chapter is the Foucault pendulum mentioned in the book?
It's in the axial rotation chapter.
Ah, there you go. I like that one. Axial rotation and R value I particularly liked. But yeah, I think that's what's tying it all together. They've got the Foucault pendulum reverses during a solar eclipse, gravity will therefore, for 7 seconds, be in flux, and the solar eclipse. So, all measured from a flat plane. So, I don't know. That's about all I can carry the conversation while you're looking stuff up.
That's okay. I've found the thing. So the interview, can you mute, please? The interview is going to be on a channel called Innerverse Podcast, INNERVERSE Podcast. So Innerverse, or one word, podcast. And it's Can You Prove Earth is Round? Tamara Cheville's Level Playing Poems. And I'm going to do, I think it's a preview for her. We'll find out in a minute. We'll play it through regardless, but this is that link. Let's just load it up.
And it was just like my brain's going crazy 24/7, absolutely obsessed. I had like thick notebooks just full of all this stuff that I was learning.
This is Tamara Cheville, and she's been studying the many reasons to doubt that the Earth is round.
Not only were we lied to in school, but by the government, by NASA, by the medical community, by the news, media. It was just horrible.
I was trying my hardest to convince myself that the globe was actually right and flat Earth was wrong. I couldn't do it.
To reach Polaris, the North Star, multiply 6 trillion miles times 433 light years. Do you still believe you could see Polaris if it was 433 light years away?
Are there any flat earthers honest enough to watch? Let's see what matches reality. They're supposed to disprove flat Earth? This is not a good experiment.
I keep finding out more things that just blow my mind. And like you said, trying to disprove it.
Water cannot even hold its position without containment. And this is why the idea of the Antarctic ice wall actually becomes necessary.
They actually did a vacuum experiment, and he was in his spacesuit. He got a breach of his suit, and immediately his tongue started to boil. Water boils in a vacuum.
This is a fascinating case, a flat Earth versus globe Earth court case.
This is so incredible. It just makes so much sense at this point. Measured flat. Period.
Okay, so that is Tamara Cheville, and that is taking place tomorrow on the Innerverse Podcast. So all one word, INNERVERSE space podcast, and that is premiering tomorrow. And the video is called Can You Prove Earth is Round? Tamara Cheville's Level Playing Poems. So check that out. That's going to be premiering tomorrow, and I've put a link to that particular video in the info box below this video. Glad that I can actually promote something that Tamara's done. The amount of support she's given me is just boundless. So thank you very much. Big shout out to you, Tamara. I'm really pleased to actually see your smiling face on a podcast. Can't wait to watch. So check that out. Obviously, earmark it, click on it, so you've got a reference so you can find your way to it tomorrow. Any other comments before we round out officially and ask people to stay tuned for the after show? No? With that, I will say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Good stuff. Slightly abrupt change of direction halfway through that show, eh?
I think it was good. It was a nice official breaking of ties with the Etta Bear character, and decisive, and didn't muddle around or wait. He just did it and sent a message. So it's much appreciated.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I've got a standard that I'm more than happy to adhere to, and if it causes a little bit of dead air in one of the shows, then so be it, right? That is not a concern. Like, there's thousands of flat earth debate shows. If one of them ends up with 20 seconds of dead air because I'm changing Discord servers, as much as I respect the people who are in there, most of the people on the panel originated in Discord, it is just a means to an end, right? It's my gateway to offer the public the ability to come in and talk to us, not to offer the ability for thieves who've stolen from me to come in and lord it over me and lie to me and deceive me and my audience, ultimately speaking, who are the main and primary focus of what I do, right? I said this yesterday, in the same way as when he reached a point where Rumpus lied doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down in the face of an example making it unequivocally clear how and why he'd have to lie, what the lie was and how he'd lied about it. He still continued to double down, triple down, quadruple down. At which point you go, you are never ever going to benefit anybody who watches you interact with me. Therefore you are and can only be detrimental to the audience's viewing experience. Therefore I don't want to be in your company. Now, he's one of the few people that, like I say, it did take a long time with plenty of people around me going, hey, he's not reasonable, he rumpuses everybody. That's where the namesake comes from. Causing a disturbance, causing it to be inaudible, right? Now, I would tolerate all of that so long as it seems like the person's genuine in terms of their desire to reach a point of truth. Now, when they can't do that, when they have to be dishonest, when they just lie, then I don't want to be around that type of person. That person's never going to benefit you, ever.
You completely remove folks like Rumpus in your life.
Yeah, you reap what you sow, as Neil would say, and if you're sowing in that kind of dirt, then expect the crap that grows from it to be garbage, to not be worth harvesting. To keep the same metaphor. It's going to reap no rewards doing that, interacting with those sorts of people. Like, you know, don't associate with scum. You know, if you roll around with pigs, you're going to get dirty.
Yeah, and I'm not going to wallow in the mire with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done with that individual.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really hard. So, like, sometimes the people that you're cutting ties with are your friends. And, you know, they're actively trying to convince you that what they've done, deceitful that it is justified, while you're fixing to cut all ties with them. You know, and when it's somebody that you're actually friendly with, it's far harder than somebody that's literally out and their only intent is to make your life miserable. Well, they're far easier to cut ties with. But yeah, when friends screw you over, it's far harder to cut ties with them. I'm sure you'll all have experienced that at some point in your lives. You're all old enough on the panel, at least, as far as I'm aware, to have experienced that at least once or twice, where you just have to cut ties with somebody that is a former friend because their betrayal is just too much for you to forgive. Now, you might mentally forgive them as you would forgive all sinners, you know, in a Christ-like way, but ultimately speaking, you don't want to be associated with those people anymore. You just sever ties, knowing that, you know, you misjudge that person and you feel bad for having misjudged them.
Yeah, you forgive them, but you don't advocate their scumbaggery.
Yeah, exactly. You forgive them as in you don't sit around condemning them to hell.
Yeah, you're not magnifying that scumbaggery.
Yeah, I think what you've done with said is the right move.
You're breaking up, mate.
Yeah, I think what you've done with Bear is...
You're breaking up as well.
Mic check.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good there.
Alrighty then.
Drop and rejoin?
Can I hear you? But then Len joined in the conversation, but then he was breaking up as well. It was just coincidence. What were we going to say, Len? Do you want to have another bash?
Mic check. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you've done with Bear is the right move, but be ready for his bloody stock accounts changing names and him trying to weasel his way back in.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. For whatever reason, they want to exercise some influence over my audience. A couple of them have verbalised that a couple of times over the last month or so. It was in that clip, actually. The guy was like, oh, he's he's talking through me because he doesn't want me communicating with his audience. You're like, no. Quite the contrary, but your assumptions that I'm trying to censor you from the audience I've built and the community I've built, it's simply not true. I've offered you a platform and an ability to communicate with them. Right, that's what Discord offers, an open door. I like that these are the same people who accuse me of being in an echo chamber. I really enjoyed that over the last couple of weeks as well, pointing out the reality of the situation. They're all in echo chambers. But yeah, nothing's changed from me. I've had an open door, regardless of where that door may be, ever since I started the show. Like, the whole reason for the multiple levels of complexity in terms of audio and having different rooms to give people a pass to get into was so that the audience had a means of joining there and then in any discussion. Like today, if you were watching the live stream, you could have joined and participated there and then with the discussion, right? Very easily. But yeah, like I say, people will accuse me of not affording them a fair crack of the whip, or that we're in an echo chamber. Like, you're having a laugh. I've had 10 years worth of shows with public access to every one of them. How many people have offered that? I would wager probably none. I would estimate I'm probably unique in that.
Yeah, when their feet are put to the fire, it's just demonstrable pure projection from them.
Somebody suggested yesterday that Eric DeBay sounded like Brenda. Did anybody catch that? I only caught it when I was doing the editing.
Yeah. Speaking of Brenda, she is on your tail. I'm checking out the Interverse Podcast YouTube channel, and 1 minute ago, she hit the chat or the comments with her typical, it's trivially easy to prove the globe. And that's all she writes.
Yeah, both me and Elijah heard it at the same time.
Right. Yeah, it was you and Eli that were suggesting that Eric DeBay sounded like her.
Could you imagine it secretly was?
No, I don't think so. Most recently, it's been a slight spat between Jake, now known as Jake the Awake, formerly Jake the Asshole, formerly Flat Earth Asshole. He's gone through a number of name changes. But he was suggesting that Eric DeBay was AI.
Yeah, man.
Did anybody catch that? I don't
know if you can hear me when I'm talking at the moment. It seems weird in these bloody headphones.
I think it's your connection as opposed to your headphones. The headphones are fine, but you're occasionally cutting out because of connection, I think.
Yeah, I caught the Jake Gibson versus Eric DeBay stuff. It was a little nonsensical. It was low-hanging fruit for FEA.
Yeah. He was saying, because he got a couple of examples where Eric had used an AI thumbnail, that meant he was an AI channel. And he was postulating, well, do you think Eric DeBay is actually real? Do you think he's even a real person? Is he just AI? I'm like, is this guy for real? I remember watching it thinking, this is just bonkers. And then Eric DeBay covered it, and I'm like, that was one of the first things he picked on. He's like, what? Your logic is because I've got an AI thumbnail and I don't do live streams, that means I'm AI. Freaking hell, really? You're like, yeah, I completely empathise with Eric. Somebody criticised my coverage of Eric because I didn't call Eric out on stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's right, I didn't. Flat Earth Jesus can do no wrong.
Yeah, once again, we have to be able to look at people and discern what they're doing and why they're doing it. Jake is a great provocateur. That's his he's built a huge channel on just going against whatever people do, I've never heard him agree with anyone. So he'll fire down on you, Nathan. He'll fire down on Dubay. He'll fire down on the Christian side of biblical cosmology. And it creates that thing that they love to do. They love to create controversy, and he's really done a fine job of it. But that's what he is. He's a provocateur. No more, no less.
Fair enough.
And happy early birthday, too. As an entrepreneurial capitalist, I would suggest you work all day long and receive the generosity of your much-loving friends, family, and fans.
Yeah, I'll probably do a show tomorrow. Not like it's over strenuous. Well, that's the one. It's not like it's overly taxing doing the show.
Yeah, like I said, have the live stream and then enjoy the rest of the day with your family.
I will.
Sweet.
Has anyone sussed out the Amazon book for $68 and how many odd cents it's apparently been printed and recovered and copied? Have you heard anything there, Nathan?
No. I think from what people have been telling me, it's a means for them to leave nasty reviews. So I don't think it's there necessarily to generate revenue. I think it's just there because people were hoping that I'd put it out on Amazon. When I didn't, they're like, oh, well, I was all geared up to give you a horrible review. And I still want to do that.
Well, it certainly piqued my curiosity as to whether someone has gone to the expense of actually printing the thing out and making it available in paperback. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And putting a brand new cover on it, I don't know. I don't want to go down the road of actually purchasing the book, because then I'd have to purchase the book and wonder what in the world I was going to get. But if I actually got a paperback copy, then I'd have to send you $68 too, and that's a pretty expensive book.
Yeah, I wouldn't charge $68 for a paperback book. It's just ludicrous. But like I say, I think they've priced it in such a way that they don't necessarily want it to sell. They just want it to be a placeholder for bad reviews.
That's interesting too, because the other referred books, they always, if you're interested in this one, take a look at these. And all the other ones were in the teens, $14, $15, $16. But yeah, yours was $68. Nefarious.
Well, it's not mine. Just so that's clear. It's obviously not mine. So don't buy that. It's not mine.
Exactly.
Yeah, if the JDF 911 guy wants to pipe up here, then you can actually get a hold of Nathan.
9/11 guy? What are you talking about?
There's a guy in DD's server chat text wanting to know. Hold on. Going over the Coriolis effect, and he's a helicopter pilot and other type of stuff.
Okay.
And do you serve? I mean, I could go through the whole shebang of his paragraphs, but yeah, those are the main things. Yeah, if he wants to actually, come in here to the voice chat, that's the most direct. Or so be it, you see him in the YouTube comment section, which I stated. Okay, mate, if you don't have a mic, then so be it. It's Nathan seeing you in the YouTube comment section.
What did you say? I don't have a mic?
Yeah, that's what he said in the text of a DD server.
Of course, that makes perfect sense. That's why you generally come into a voice chat.
Listen, I'm going a little further than you're going. I understand what you're saying, and I agree 100%. Eddie Bear's around. Any of these bastards that didn't pay for the book, they're thieves, so don't hang out with them. I don't want to hang out with anybody that steals from you, because I consider you my friend. You've helped me in many different times in my life. You could say, no, not you, but you opened up your community, and they helped me, so that's a direct result of you, okay? I'm going to go further. If you hang out with somebody that freaking ripped off Nathan, I don't want to be around you because that tells me about the character of the person. If you could just ignore the fact that they ripped you off and still hang out with them like nothing's happened, I can't be around you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily force my views on anybody else. It's like, if people in the politics server today, I said it, it's like, if you want to hang around with this person, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to tell you you can't hang around with this person. That's not my, it's not my place to do that. But obviously, I can...
Agree.
I can choose to hang around with people if I want to, though.
Right. And I choose not to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I choose not to.
I'm going to have somebody freaking say in chat that freaking Jedi. First of all, I know Jedi. I know him for a long time. The guy knows his shit. He may have done a couple of things wrong. We all have. But you're going to stand by the integrity of freaking... You're going to compare the integrity of Vaxwax, a known scumbag hang-arounder with, whatever you want to call it, and Jedi? No, I don't think so.
Well, anyway, I'm going to round up today's show on that note. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hitting me up on PayPal, Patreon, buying a copy of Measured Flat, joining as an affiliate, all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Millimeter, it be accurately measured. It's measured flat, direction up and down. Flat level we at, fly over ground. Descending from that breeze, heading in degrees. Horizontal, flat, ESC, now you know it's flat.